I went to Six Flags Over Georgia for the very first time on April 7th, 8th, and 9th of 2021. I got on 72 rides in total, 66 of them being roller coasters. Today I'll be ranking every coaster at the park. Riddler Mindbender is excluded because it wasn't open yet when I went. I really enjoyed the park. It wasn't operated the best and the employees really can improve significantly, but the ride collection definitely makes me want to head back there a little bit. That's all I have to say. Let me begin. Number 10 is Batman the Ride. This was my second of the Batman invert clones, and these are the only inverts I've ridden that I don't like. This one is certainly not an exception, it's just not good. I can appreciate the intensity, but it's not fun to experience. It's unbearable to ride. You know it's not a good experience when you're waiting for the ride to be over. I rode it twice, and both times I was just waiting for the ride to be over already. Personally, I ride coasters to have fun, not to go numb beyond belief. I mean, call me crazy for liking to have fun on a roller coaster. Number 9 is Joker Funhouse Coaster. It's a Chance Rides Big Dipper roller coaster. It's a kiddie coaster, but it's definitely faster than most kiddie coasters out there. It's a pretty fun ride. I enjoyed it. It's just a family ride though, so I can't really say too much about it at all. Solid ride for a kiddie coaster. Number 8 is Dahlonega Mine Train. It's an aerodynamics mine train. This is my favorite mine train for sure. That ending is just so good. The whole ride is taken at a slow pace, but the ending is so good. The final drop is fun, and that pop up into the brakes provides really good airtime. It was very unexpected. I enjoyed it, and for that, I considered putting it at number 7, honestly. Number 7 is Blue Hawk. This ride isn't really anything too special. The drop isn't great in any row. It's so shallow that you can barely tell you're not on the lift hill anymore. The inversions were intense, but nothing too amazing. My favorite element on this ride were those two double corkscrews. This ride has some great hand choppers. I really like the setting of this ride over the water, and it's a very smooth ride, but it isn't anything too crazy. It's not a bad coaster by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not anything incredible. Number 6 is Daredevil Dive. This ride is very similar to Blue Hawk in as far as how good I think it is. The drop is solid. I mean, it is beyond vertical, but that doesn't make it the best. The inversions had some really good hang time on them, and there were just some good transitions in there, but it wasn't anything too entertaining. I was hoping for it to be better than Tantrum, which it was, and match the level of Fahrenheit. And I knew that was very unlikely, but I figured it was a possibility. It doesn't come close to touching Fahrenheit. I love Fahrenheit, and Daredevil Dive was just okay. So this ride is a decent Kurosawa roller coaster, but it isn't anything special. Number 5 is Great American Scream Machine. I had this at number 4 in the park for a couple days, but on the third day I decided that it belongs at number 5. Nothing will beat my first ride on it, I don't think, just because I didn't know whether to expect to dislike it or like it, and I loved it on my first ride. I didn't really absolutely love it anymore. It is a really solid ride though. It's extremely rough, but if you know how to ride it, it's fine. If you loosen your seatbelt all the way and get room on the lap bars, which is likely, then you can get some awesome airtime on this ride. It's a nice secluded ride, which I love, and overall it's pretty solid. Watch out for the brakes though. They're the most sudden final brakes of all time, and you can hurt yourself if you aren't careful. Number 4 is Georgia Scorcher. This is my very first B&M stand-up roller coaster. Sure, this can be uncomfortable in your certain area if you're a male like I am, but that doesn't make the ride itself bad. So leg pain I was expecting on this wasn't as bad as I was expecting. It was a bearable ride and had some good airtime during the ride too at a few moments. I know this is considered a good stand-up coaster, so I'm interested in seeing what I think about other stand-up coasters out there. I plan on doing 2 more this year, so hopefully I like those at least as much as I did Georgia Scorcher. It's not an amazing ride or anything, but it's a good ride that I did every day at the park. Number 3 is Superman Ultimate Flight. Now on to my first B&M flying roller coaster. I didn't know whether to expect to like this or dislike this. I thought I'd like it, and I absolutely loved it. I even had it at number 2 at one point in the park. I was blown away. That pretzel loop by itself would make this ride absolutely awesome. That could be my favorite element on a roller coaster of all time. I'd have to think about it. It can't get crazier than that on a ride. It's so unbelievably intense, and if you have your arms out on it, especially, you can even get some really good airtime coming out of the element. The turns that are really close to the ground are very fun too. It's hard to keep my eyes open during this element. My second favorite element of the ride is probably the other inversion that ends off the ride. It's so much fun. I wish I had more inversions. That's why I cannot wait to ride some more around the world. Bruno is very happy. Number 2 is Goliath. This is an elite B&M Hyper. The drop isn't nearly as good as I was expecting. My least favorite first drop on a B&M Hyper. The camelbacks after the drop are very fun, especially towards the front. In the back is my favorite row though, because the drop is the best and the finale is a whole lot better there. These final hills give incredible airtime. It's flagector and you are flying out of your seat coming down the hills. My shirt kept on coming up on every ride. And on the final couple of hills in the back especially, by the time you're coming down from the previous airtime, you're already being lifted back up from the next hill, so you slam into the restraints. It's so much fun. The pop into the brakes is also one of my favorite parts of the ride. It's actually pretty violent. And we can't forget about the very intense helix. It's more intense than the ones found on Candemonium, Diamondback, or Behemoth for sure. This ride is just a blast. I love the clamshells on this. My favorite restraints. Very comfortable ride. And every row is good on it. I really love this roller coaster. And number 1 is Twisted Cyclone. This thing by far exceeded my expectations. I've always been led to believe that this is a bottom tier RMC. I even predicted it to be the worst RMC not too long ago, actually. And I was so wrong. The only reason I feel that it gets trashed on by some people compared to other RMCs is because it's a short ride. And it is, but I feel like rides like RMC Raptors or Top Thrill Dragster get more love. And I'm sorry, but there's no way that those are better to me. I don't even know where to begin. The drop is insane. It's whippy in the back and it will make you get butterflies. Speaking of that back, that's the only car I did the whole time. Car number 6. That reverse Cobra roll also exceeded my expectations. It's the second version, and that being my favorite, diving towards the ground, getting some good hang time. The third version of the ride, the 0G roll, was incredible. Absolutely love 0G rolls. That wave turn was amazing too. It did not disappoint. It throws you to the side and you get some insane lateral airtime. The airtime hills are way stronger than I was anticipating. Most of these are on L-Rod level. They're so slept on, especially the one before the 0G roll and the final twisted hill before the brakes. The color scheme on this looks awesome too, and the theming is good for Six Flags. I love storm theming, so I enjoyed looking at this theming. I only waited in the line once though for the last ride of the night on my final day at the park, and that was a really cool experience. Really good night ride. RMC hybrids just look really cool at night. There's really nothing that disappointed me with this coaster. Everything exceeded expectations for me. Well, the wave turn met expectations, but this ride is everything I could have wanted. I love this coaster, and you'll be seeing it in my overall top 5 for sure. That's all for my top 10 roller coasters at Six Flags Over Georgia. It has a pretty good ride collection and an awesome 1-2-3 punch. I recommend these coasters a whole lot. Next, you'll see my overall top 25 and how that's changed, so stay tuned for that. That'll wrap up this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later.